Alrighty guys, sorry I've not made a video. The last 3 to 4 days have been really rough. I've not been able to get out into the shop at all. Got a lot going on behind the scenes. So today is the first day that I was able to sneak out here and get a couple hours in the shop, so I thought I'd make you a video. The video I dropped the other day of me doing the base work on that 620, that's an old video. That saw's already been built and dynoed, and I talked about the results on it, but I have footage of the build and some test cuts of it saved up on days I can't get out here and make you guys a vid. That way I got some footage I can drop, so it doesn't hurt the YouTube algorithm or whatever, however that thing works. But the port work, machine work, everything is now done on the cs8000, and I thought maybe I'd make you guys a vid. I just got done final checking the numbers, so I'm going to show you. I'm not going to hide anything on this build. I'm going to show you everything I did to this build. Let's start with the wrist pin. I don't know what Echo made this wrist pin out of, but my tungsten carbide boring bar would not touch it. So I had to get creative. I actually used blue stones and the Dremel while it was turning in the lathe to cut my tapers in here. I took this weighed 25 grams. I took it down to 22. That's as far as I dared want to do. I didn't want to take any more structurability of it away. So there's the lightened wrist pin, 25 to 22, so that's 3 grams off it. That's a lot. And then here is the tapered button top pop-up piston I decided to go with on it. The windows have been opened. I took material off everywhere that I could. This piston was 91 grams and it is now 86. So what would that be? That would be 116 between the wrist pin and the piston is what this weighed stock, and it's 108 now. So I took 8 grams off total weight of wrist pin and piston. All my piston work is done. I'm not going to polish the top of this one. I'm just gonna leave it. I don't know if I need the flashlight or not. I'll grab it just in case. So here is the lunged intake, my mega wide lowers, my tapered. I put them uppers, I staggered them 2 degrees different from each other, but I put them uppers on the same angle or similar. Best I could eyeball the angle is my piston and my chamber. There is the exhaust. You can still see, well, you can see a little bit of marring from where I had the flashlight wedged in here, but it left a little marring. I'm not going to repolish it over that, but you can still see the nickel on the bottom. I did not touch the bottom of this. You can see my machine work here, and where I cut it off here, I had to hand cut this radius back in. So, and then up in there, you can see I cut this band flat first and then cut it on a taper, because the Joe's flat band cutter takes out a lot more material faster than how I taper cut them. And then I turn around and taper cutted it. It's close to catching that ring of death that's up in there. Really close, but should be good. This thing should pump up. The numbers that I went with on this build is it's 100 on the exhaust roof. I did widen it a scooch, and then one transfer fires at 25 degrees blowdown and the other transfer fires at 27, and then I'm 82 on the intake. So that's the numbers, and it's 19,000 squish for those that are wondering. This is the numbers I chose to go with. So it's a long blowdown build. A lot of times when I dink with these Echoes, they seem to like longer blowdown. unless it's a stratified one like the 4310. But you know, I can't tell you guys what's a good set of numbers or whatever. You know, it's such a touchy and controversial subject. You know, the plus side of doing it like this, I mean, that other gray one is, if I remember right, is 24 degrees blow down, 102 on the exhaust, and I think 78 or 80 on the intake. I can't remember. And I tapered that piston, but I did not do a pop up. It's just tapered on that one, and I didn't cut nowhere near as much out of the combustion chamber. And that one makes just over 8 horse. So we'll see what this one's going to do. And I'm still thinking on what I want to do for the muffler mod. But the nice thing is by leaving that, you know, say if I want to go short blowdown, I can. Once you take that blowdown away, it is very, very hard to get it back. So we're gonna roll with this and see what happens. I have a sneaky suspicion it's gonna be a pretty good runner, just gauging by how the other well, I built that other gray one and that other orange one. And I did a red or a yellow John Deere one, but the yellow John Deere one I did considerably mellower than all 3 of these other ones because that was a milling saw. So, but yeah, so I don't know if I'm gonna have time today to put this together, but I wanted to get you guys a video. I'm hoping today I can at least get the short block, you know, the cylinder and stuff all glued on so it can sit overnight at the very worst. That way when I come out tomorrow I can resume puttering on it. This particular style saw is fed pretty much 100% through the piston. It's got a nice cut out in here that this fits down in very snugly, so it doesn't really get anything from the bottom other than what comes through that piston. And this piston fits really tight down in there too, so it really doesn't get fed much through the bottom of the case. It has to all go through the piston. That's why I'll show you that too. Flashlight or not. Try to get this shot. I try to show you guys everything in here. Woo, that wouldn't have been good. Dropped my piston on the floor. Hold my thumb here. Can you see the light down in there? See how there's still Nickel on this side? This transfer lined up fine. This one I had to scooch over a mile to get it to line up to feed that. So I doubled the amount of airflow that this thing had. Absolutely doubled it. So it should give us some good gains. And I'm not quite sure. I might have to check the spark plug real good because it's super close. But this thing should pump up extremely well. Having a hard time moving around too. I've got a pinched nerve in my back. So, but all right. So I'm gonna call this a vid here. So the numbers once again on that is 19 squish, 100 on the exhaust, 125, 127 on the transfers, 82 on the intake, and the piston weight is 108 with no rings. I didn't measure it with the rings, but going from 116 to 108 with the pin and piston, I'm pretty sure I'm going to help this thing out. I'll have to do a video on it, do some research, see if I can figure out the math on it, but it's the speed that this piston's moving from one direction to the other. The G-forces that are on it are absolutely tremendous. So, 8 grams could bleed off tons of, G-force pressure from flipping and flopping it. The lighter that you can get your piston, the less that rotating assembly has to work to push it to the top, and the less it has to work to switch directions and pull it to the bottom. So one of these days I'll get back on the cutaway and we'll talk about some more stuff. But for those that wonder why I lighten a piston, that's why I do it. It makes more lightening a piston's free power, and it's easier on your bottom end. So all right, you guys take it easy, have a good one. I've blabbered on here enough.